Nothing says Christmas more than Arnold Schwarzenegger. That's right. We watched the best, worst Christmas movie of all time, where Arnold Schwarzenegger wants you to know one thing.
I'm not a pervert. I just was looking for Joe Mande doll.
That's right. We saw Jingle All The Way, so you know what that means.
Now it's time for How Did This Get Made? We're gonna have a good time, celebrate some failure, not just be a hater. Cause you know you wonder, how did this get made? Let's wallow in the mediocrity of subpar art. Perhaps we'll find the answer to the question, how did this get made?
Hello, people of Earth, and welcome to How Did This Get Made? The holiday edition. I believe this is dropping the week of Christmas, so Merry Christmas to you who celebrate Christmas, and then Happy Holidays to those who don't. I am joined, as always.
You don't want to say Happy Hanukkah?
Well, Hanukkah's over.
Oh, you're right. Hanukkah's over.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
It's not?
No.
I thought it happens early in the month.
No, it's
When does it start this
like
month?
3 days before Christmas.
Yeah,
What?
And it would just be nice to
Guys, well,
acknowledge
then Happy Hanukkah. Take a sincere Happy Hanukkah for you. Well, like we said, this is our holiday episode, so we of course picked a holiday movie. It's Jingle All The Way. I'm joined as always by June and Jason. Hello, how are you both?
What's going on?
it. Hi, Pa.
And we have a very special guest. You've already heard him. Joe Mande is here. Welcome, Joe.
Hi, thank you.
How are you?
Happy Hanukkah.
Happy Hanukkah. Happy Hanukkah indeed. All right, Jingle All The Way.
Wow.
Wow, let's get into this movie. I never had seen this movie as a kid.
I didn't either.
And I'm bummed that I've missed out years
I'm actually
of quoting
realizing
this.
that I haven't seen Arnold Schwarzenegger's acting, really. Like, I've never seen him.
This might be
On the
his
screen.
best acting.
It's the one. Are you serious?
well,
This
I
is
mean,
his
I
finest
don't know.
work.
I really believed he was a terrible father.
Right. That landed for you.
I do love movies where Schwarzenegger is just a normal guy.
Yeah.
Like there's no comment on the fact that he is this Austrian, massive Austrian.
Well, that's the
dude.
thing. Nobody ever comments on the fact that he's Austrian.
Yeah.
You know, which
No.
he's like, he has a crazy accent, but he's acting like the all-American dad,
Yeah.
which he is just not.
You're my favorite customer. You're my favorite customer. I
Well,
don't
so
even-
much so, and I'm sorry to jump to the end, but when there's another guy
Spoiler
at the
alert.
Christmas Eve parade who also has an Austrian accent, who has a little Turbo Man mask on, like, nobody
Yeah.
questions, like, oh,
Yeah.
there's another guy in this small town
Yeah.
who's enormous, who has an Austrian accent.
Yeah. Who knows
Like, that's
who
just
knows
odd.
who knows the son's name? Jamie! I want to give the doll to Jamie. And then he's like, he knows my name. Not like, my dad is Turbo Man.
We're
which is
skipping
what
ahead, first of all.
Sorry.
Yeah, so
We're skipping ahead. Let's take it back.
I mean, basically,
Sorry,
this
guys.
movie,
Guys, I'm so sorry.
No.
guys, that you feel as guilty
I know
as I do
we
about
just
the
want to skip
Hanukkah
to the
thing.
end.
Joe, I'm so sorry. Oh, God, I ruined it.
There's so many things here that I was confused about. Like,
Really? What?
Well,
Everything made so much sense.
First of all, let's talk about Phil Hartman's character,
Yeah.
who's introduced in the beginning. Is it clear that he's a divorced dad, or that happened
No.
just like 30 minutes later? Because they don't
is
set
not
it up.
clear.
Well, they have that thing in the beginning where he's like, all the women are like flirting with him, and it's like insinuated that he's like banging all the wives when he's at the karate.
But
Yeah.
it's not. It's insinuated, but he acts like a weirdo.
Yes.
Like asexual dude, and
Yeah,
he's
it's
just like,
like-
wow, all these women keep talking to me, and then
He's
halfway
basically
through
Ned
the movie,
Flanders in that sense.
yeah,
you know?
exactly, and then he turns the switch, and suddenly he's like sexually assaulting.
Yes.
Rita Wilson.
No, you know what I'm realizing, though, because I was confused by that opening scene with the other women, but because his reaction, he keeps on turning to Rita Wilson like, oh, I hate this. And now I'm realizing that that was actually the game he was playing with
with
her.
her.
He felt that way all along about Rita Wilson.
He's playing the long game.
Yeah, he
So
was.
many levels
It was
in
so
this performance.
patient.
It's
It was
typical
so
for
patient.
sex maniacs.
It's also typical
Take it
for
real slow.
Yeah.
Take it real slow. Also typical for anybody who wants to get in Rita Wilson's pants. How do you think Tom Hanks got there, guys?
Right.
I also do
Hanks
like.
played it long.
Real
Hanks,
slow.
he lay and he waited. And then he pounced on Wilson.
I just want to set up. This is a small note. It's a kids' movie, sure, but there are a couple of things like the karate class is taking place at the local school. Like it's not in a karate facility.
And it's
which-
more of a karate recital.
Yes,
Yeah.
it really is a
Right.
Christmas karate recital
Yeah.
that happens the day before Christmas Eve, the big time. Also, there's so many
It's
things.
such stupid.
I mean, the whole beginning of the movie is just a giant setup for the third act. It's
Yes.
like, it's like, oh, there's a big parade this afternoon.
Yep.
Oh, it's icy. You better take care of those tires. Oh, I have a Turbo Man doll. It's underneath my tree. It's like every possible
And I
thing.
have a reindeer.
And I have a reindeer.
Oh my God. Well, we can talk about it later, but suffice to say, when Arnold Schwarzenegger punches the reindeer out, and the reindeer says, ow.
Yeah.
Best moment.
Is right about where I lost my mind in this movie.
Also,
he punches it out, and the reindeer goes, ow.
Well, there's also a part where he tries to pet the reindeer and it snaps at him like a dog.
Yeah.
And then later when he comes outside and there's a reindeer charging him, he goes, nice doggy.
Yeah.
Nice
Like,
doggy.
It's a reindeer.
Like that
Wait,
is.
where is this reindeer like being housed during the course?
Why is
in
there
Phil
a reindeer?
Hartman's backyard.
In the backyard.
Yeah.
All right, so the whole premise of the movie is that Schwarzenegger is kind of a delinquent father. It seems that he has never been home his entire life.
No.
Yeah.
He's not up
Well,
on...
those box springs aren't going to sell themselves.
Is that what he's selling? Box springs?
And apparently he works at the world's largest mattress facility because they cut to his Christmas party where he's just working, burning the midnight oil, selling box
It
springs.
starts the same way as Die Hard, which I think
Yes.
is why he
Yeah.
signed out. He read the first 2 pages, like, I'll do it.
And he is selling box springs. He's not around for his kid. His kid wants this Turbo Man action doll, and he's got to get the Turbo Man doll. Now, here's the thing that I didn't realize. This movie was so horribly reviewed because they made Turbo Man toys for Christmas.
Oh, wow.
So it was, most people, when you watch this movie, it was a giant commercial for a fictional thing
Right.
that they made. So it was like, yeah, it's about this Cabbage Patch, Transformer, whatever. But it was actually, they made the thing.
God.
This movie, I feel like this movie was as if people like put a bunch of scene ideas onto cards, spun them in like a lotto loop, and then pulled them out every one and was like, okay, next scene is he goes to a diner, his car runs out of gas. Next scene is Santa's workshop, corrupt conman Santa's gang fight, Santa Ninja.
Slot
My
it in.
favorite part
Slot
of
it
the
in.
movie.
Put it on the board.
I gotta just disclaimer. I grew up in St. Paul, Minnesota, where this movie takes place, and I remember them filming it, and it was a really big deal.
Were you an extra at all, or were you just...
I was not an extra, but I was at the Mall of America one day when they were shooting the movie, so I saw Schwarzenegger's body double slide into the ball pit.
Oh my
What
God.
does Schwarzenegger's body double look like? Is he as big as Schwarzenegger?
I don't remember.
you see-
Also, they shot the movie, I believe, in like April or May. So
right.
everyone's
Oh,
wearing
God.
jackets, and it was like hot outside.
Yeah, it's... So Schwarzenegger goes on what you could argue is the longest daylight day in human
I
history.
kept being like, is it night yet?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He
And
goes,
again, I don't notice these things, but that day was so long. Like, if the lighting outside never changed.
No.
Like, it didn't start off as morning. It didn't change into midday. Like,
and
it
the
was
way
just
that he went
bright.
around that city, it seemed, the movie ends at a holiday parade that is in pure daylight. It's
Yeah.
not an evening parade.
Yeah.
There's no evening element to it.
But there has been the equivalent of 40 hours of
Yes.
day because of what he's accomplished.
He lives in the Alaskan part
Yes.
of Minneapolis. But yeah, it was such a crazy thing. And then, I also want to talk about the direction on this. Schwarzenegger in this whole movie is shot either from like a camera looking up into his face or really tight close-ups. So it looks like it's almost like bad 3D. So it's always like his face is like, oh. I think a BBC critic says that Schwarzenegger has the comedic timing of a dead moose. Oh my
God. Yeah.
There is like that face is always like he's always getting hit by something, making crazy faces.
It's clear he has no concept of humor when he's like trying to be funny.
Yeah.
Like it's so painful to watch.
And everyone's improvising around him, too. That's why I think this movie makes no sense at all. Sinbad chokes a woman.
Yeah.
He chokes a woman.
He not only does he choke a woman, but he gets beaten up at a toy store at one point and yells Rodney King, and then again
I
gets
miss that.
Yeah,
I
he yells
miss
that, and then he gets punched again, and he goes, "Watch out, be careful, I've got sickle cell." So it's just like he was saying, like they just kept everything in.
Well, I said I felt like every bit that he did in this movie were like deleted bits from Sinbad's stand-up. It was like, this didn't make it in. It's not as funny as what his stand-up would be. This is kind of like the B cuts. I actually
Some
have a
stuff
clip
makes no sense. Like at one point when he screams out, like, "I've seen the movie Vertigo."
Yeah.
They're
Does
like
that mean
on a
anything to you?
high-rise?
Yeah, does that mean anything to you?
No.
Here,
No,
this
it
is
doesn't.
some of Sinbad's little stand-up. Here we go.
You know it's all a ploy, don't you?
A ploy.
Man, where have you been? Don't you watch TV? We are being set up by rich and powerful toy cartels.
Oh, come
now
on.
you got these big fat cats sit there using working class just like me and you. They spend big millions of dollars on TV advertisement, and then they sit there and use subliminal messages to suck your children's minds out. And I know what I'm talking about because I went to junior college for a semester and I studied psychology, so I'm right in there. I know what's going on. And then they sit there and make a kid feel like garbage if you, the father who's working 24/7, delivering mail so you can make an alimony payment to a woman that slept with everybody at the post office but me. And then when you get the toy, it breaks and you can't fix it because it's a little cheap plastic.
It just seems like the cadence of stand-up without any jokes to it. And this is where he starts to choke a woman. Apparently this part was written for Joe Pesci, but they recast it at the last minute with Sinbad.
Well, that makes sense.
Because Joe Pesci was too short next to Schwarzenegger. But that makes more sense that he's crazy and a bad guy.
What's so interesting about that is that Sinbad was originally cast in Goodfellas. And Scorsese, at the last minute, replaced him with Joe Pesci.
Bad move.
Just think of what that movie could have been, guys.
This whole movie is just like a giant soundboard, like an Arnold Schwarzenegger soundboard, too. It's like, he's not kosher. I'm not a pervert. Don't eat my cookies. Get your mother. It's like they're the best things of all time.
Also, the whole movie revolves around him getting a Turbo Man doll, and he's incapable of saying the word turbo. It sounds like he's saying Tim Tebow, like Tebow Man. Tebow Man.
I also sort of felt like Sinbad never had a son.
No, I felt
like that Turbo Man doll.
Like that
just
twist in
bad.
Planes, Trains, and Automobiles with John Candy's wife is
exactly
been dead.
like
It's yeah, you don't see Sinbad's kid. Also, I mean, Sinbad is a bad dude. Besides choking a woman, he brings a bomb.
He's a terrorist.
Twice. Yeah, he's a terrorist twice.
He's like a homicidal, government worker.
Yeah, alcoholic, ties up a parade worker, steals his costume, and gets into a fist fight and chases a kid up a tree.
And it's
almost
so
kills
racist.
a kid.
Like, he's the only black character except for the weird waiter in the diner.
No,
and the black family.
Oh, that they
who was not invited to the Christmas Eve parade.
while they're saying grace.
Yes.
Remember?
The black family having grace as Arnold Schwarzenegger as Turbo Man flies through their living room.
Destroys their house. He destroys their house.
Because that, you know what they were asking for.
Yeah, they were praying.
You know?
They should be at the Wintertainment parade.
So
that Wintertainment parade is so heavily produced too.
Oh my God,
this
it's
was
massive.
really
the Wintertainment parade, at the end of the movie, Schwarzenegger somehow gets himself into the Turbo Man costume and then proceeds. The Turbo Man costume in this movie works fully functional.
Yeah.
Like, it has jetpacks that can fly you into outer space almost.
Projectile discs.
Projectile discs, boomerangs that work. Everything on this costume works. If this worked, people would be wearing it. Soldiers would be bringing this into battle the way that they had this.
Absolutely. I loved, and we've not spoken yet about the Jim Belushi.
That's the best part of the movie.
Yes.
That guy who plays the elf, I feel like if we IMDb'd him, has been a Christmas elf.
He was a Seinfeld elf.
In 700 things.
Yeah.
I did appreciate, though, there was one little person in that sequence who was dressed as a Santa.
Yeah, Little Santa.
Yep.
Little Santa.
And I believe, I did not check this out, but Vern Troyer was one of the extra.
I think so, too.
I think you're right.
He was the one who gets punched and flies.
This underground workshop was where they were selling toys on the black
Stolen,
market, right?
yes.
But why
was it the
did
cartel?
they need to? Yeah, this is a toy cartel. Why were they all in costumes?
Who?
Okay, all right, just had to ask. I had to ask.
The women were in Santa's helper, costumes, as if they were from the North Pole.
So Belushi,
We're not explaining this.
Yeah.
He goes to the Mall of America.
No, we don't need to explain it. What are you talking about?
Well, okay. Sorry. I don't know how to explain.
No, please do.
He goes to the Mall of America to enter a lottery to get one of the last Turbo Man dolls in the state. And the way the lottery works, everyone gets bouncy balls, like super balls.
Yeah,
Of course,
super balls
of
with
course.
numbers on
Yeah.
them.
Totally normal.
And then
The workers are overwhelmed at one point, and they throw.
Chris Parnell throws.
Oh, he's the first one. This is the different.
Oh,
one,
you're right.
They throw all these bouncy balls into the air.
and then so then he doesn't get a bouncy ball, and dejected walks around the Mall of America, bumps into Jim Belushi as a Santa Claus,
A degenerate Santa.
It's degenerate Santa who.
And by the way, the bouncy, when he's searching for that bouncy ball, that's probably about a 10-minute sequence.
Where he's literally
10-minute action
chasing.
sequence.
That is an action sequence where he is chasing a yellow ball around the mall.
Some of which involves just we're saying action sequence, but part of it is him riding in an elevator.
Yes, yes.
It's an action sequence that's like and then it's just him going from like the third floor in a glass elevator to the first, like so
slow.
There are a number
walking
of
to Legoland.
Yes, there are a number of montages I wrote. Nothing happened in this montage.
This is also Sinbad. Another fault of Sinbad, sprays Arnold Schwarzenegger in the face with mace.
Yeah,
he's like, "Oh, mace!"
Schwarzenegger also gets tasered in this movie in the ass.
Yeah,
in the ass. That elf tasers him in the ass
and dogpiled by Jim Belushi.
Dogpile, okay, sorry, go ahead.
So then he talks. Jim Belushi says like, I have black market. Toys if you want.
I have a Turbo Man.
So then they go to this like warehouse near the Mississippi River, and when they walk in, everyone is dressed as Santas and Santa's helpers and elves.
And they're making toys. Now, the idea of it, I guess, in my mind, is that they have toys that no one can get, but all the toys that are in production are like big blue bears.
That you win at a carnival.
Yeah.
I'm actually realizing, though, I think I do understand now why they're in costume. I think we're to understand that these are all the workers from malls.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. See, I didn't even understand.
But why are they pulling double shifts? I mean, are they?
Because I'll tell you
why.
They
wear
know.
Your costumes in the?
Because you guys, they don't have time to change out of them. So don't worry about that. But they know what toys are the hottest toys of the year.
Sure.
And that's why they're waiting till Christmas Eve to make it and sell it.
And it comes into play in a second. One of the toys they're making and selling on the black market are fake badges, because every kid wants a fake badge for Christmas.
But
and by the way,
and they're always sold out.
It's believable enough that when the cops show up, Schwarzenegger can use the fake badge in order to claim that he's an undercover police detective
from Austria,
who's been working on this case for 3 years.
I mean, like, what are you doing? You guys, this is the worst.
You ruined my case.
You ruined my case. You better arrest somebody. Why doesn't anybody be like, where are you from? Who are you?
We're in St.
You
Paul.
Yes. And you don't belong.
And what kind of case did they ruin? They busted the entire ring in one-stop shopping. They didn't ruin anything.
And by the way, at this point, like, they're furiously making toys. It must be like 4 p.m.
Yeah, how many more?
Night.
How many more
it's
toys?
kind of over. Yeah.
It seems like Turbo Man is the only toy that they should be making. But no, it's the blue bears are just as hot. I also want to point out that like Schwarzenegger's like, I won't hit a Santa. Why? This guy is a scumbag who just stole $300 for you by selling you a fake Turbo Man toy.
He has a bleeding heart, though. He also gives Sinbad about like 15 chances after he's maced him and done.
Yeah.
There's a difficult message in this movie for like I would think if you're a kid watching it, like it's a kid's movie, right? Like the Santas are constantly being revealed to not really be Santa. They're being beaten up. Like there's like a real like honesty about the fraudulent nature of Christmas.
Yeah.
Which I kept being like, how is this a kid's movie? Like they're revealing stuff that kids would be like, wait a minute, I feel like. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just putting that out there, guys.
Well,
so you didn't know when you were little that the Santas at the mall weren't actually Santa?
I thought it was Santa.
Yeah, me too.
Okay.
Did you not think that?
No, I thought that I never thought that those guys were actually Santa.
Oh, wow.
Wow, how jaded you were
Yeah,
as
look
a
at
child.
that. I do love that Schwarzenegger's like, I won't hit a Santa, but I will pull his beard back far enough that when it slaps him in the face, it will make him do a double over flip. Like, what kind of elastic is this? Again, it's like it borders on like slapsticky kid movie, and then it gets like oddly adult in parts. It goes back and forth.
We didn't talk about, in that same scene you were just talking about, when he's fighting when the Santas all fight Schwarzenegger and it turns into like a fight sequence.
Yeah.
There is a Santa who has candy cane nunchucks and is a ninja.
And is old.
I just wrote Ninja Santa down because that was
because just
stupid.
in case someone did cause trouble, they had candy cane nunchucks.
And I feel like
that's a hot toy on Christmas Eve. They have to make nunchucks out of candy cane.
I feel like the director at some point pulled Jim Belushi aside and was like, listen, this scene is going to be pretty iconic in this movie. I want to like push in on you at one point, and I want you to, just like your brother said, food fight, I want you to say dog pile.
It is exactly the same thing.
Exactly.
You're right.
It's the same camera movement, and it's the same dog pile. You know, like it's crazy.
This is my food fight.
It's his food fight. It is identical.
So meanwhile, while Schwarzenegger is running out trying to get the Turbo Man toy and having all of his trials and tribulations, at home, Phil Hartman is making the moves on his wife, Rita Wilson, who...
On Schwarzenegger's wife.
Oh, yeah, Schwarzenegger's wife. And Schwarzenegger calls up, and this is a little interaction between Schwarzenegger and Phil Hartman, which has the classic cookies line.
Ted, I need to speak to Liz. Could you get...
Howard, excuse me, but your wife's cookies are out of this world.
Who told you can eat my cookies?
I'm just helping Liz out a little in the kitchen. She's making up a storm here. Oh, these cookies. I gotta get the recipe from Liz.
Put that cookie down now!
So Phil Hartman really improvising up a storm. He's funny in it, but
I
also
loved him
some
in
things
it.
make no sense. Like when he's like, "Oh, these cookies!" Like,
Yeah.
I don't understand what that is trying to get at.
Yeah,
that
is
he's
he-
eating
is
his
he
cookies.
prodding Schwarzenegger? Like,
Yeah.
because there's a part at the end where Rita Wilson's very mad at Schwarzenegger for literally coming as close as he can to burning down Phil Hartman's house.
Like, really?
Yeah.
Like, lighting the house on fire.
And then Phil Hartman is like, I'm going to go drive your wife to the parade.
Yeah.
You're not allowed. And then he turns around and goes, you can't bench press your way out of this one. So that's the only reference to him being a bodybuilder in the
Yeah.
movie.
I feel like at a certain point in this movie, I kept waiting for him to be like, "Oh, wait a minute, no, I'm a robot, and I thought this was my life. This has been a program.
I am Turbo Man.
I am Turbo." The movie, he did not belong in this world so clearly.
That's absurd.
It was insanity. Everywhere he went, every person, when he's talking to Martin Mull, and Martin Mull's like, "Oh, 911, 911," and he's like, "I want the doll, I want the doll."
He ran, the radio station is running a promotion. They have the last Turbo Man doll, and they want you to name all the 7 reindeer.
Right.
And Schwarzenegger tries to call, but he can't get through, so he decides to run to the radio station.
But
because that will
slowly.
work.
That'll be
happens-
faster
So-
than finding another phone.
Yeah.
Well, it's only 2 blocks away, thank God.
Thank God. He runs to the radio station the entire way with Sinbad, reciting all the 7 reindeers, as if letting Sinbad in on the...
Yeah.
If Sinbad could
shouldn't
clearly
have done that.
steal it. But
Shouldn't.
Sinbad has a plan, which is bringing a bomb to the radio station, which actually, he doesn't think it's a bomb, but it actually turns out to be a bomb.
Well, not that one, not that package.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh, I
That's
guess-
the second package. What I couldn't
Second-
figure
The
out...
second bomb.
The one that blows up the police.
Yeah.
Yes.
The one that blows up the radio workers was a fake bomb. The one that blows up the police, real bomb. What I couldn't figure out is they were running the 2 blocks from the diner to the radio station. So slowly, I feel like the director was like, "Hey, you guys are running too fast. The camera can't keep up with you.
Yeah.
So
So can
tiny
you
bits.
like look like you're running fast, but like be running really slow?"
We can't follow you.
So they're like really high stepping, and it's really weird. Meanwhile, Sinbad is inexplicably emptying his mail bag of
Yes.
mail,
Well,
just
see-
throwing mail onto the ground.
He's trying to lighten his load so he can run faster.
It's not working. It was.
But he's not lighting it with packages.
No,
he's lighting it
just
with small envelopes.
Yeah.
Yeah, or maybe he was just trying to find that bomb.
Oh, so the cops get blown up, but
Well,
that's not
one
that bad.
cop gets blown up.
The same cop.
He's
there-
actually a state trooper, you guys.
a state trooper for the Twin Cities.
Twin Cities Police.
Twin Cities Police.
You're really into this.
Yeah, I watched it closely. I don't know.
That's another person that's constantly chasing Schwarzenegger. The state trooper, first
has
to
it
give him a
out for him.
ticket, then Schwarzenegger runs over his motorcycle, and then Schwarzenegger blows him up, and then Schwarzenegger drops hot coffee on him.
Scalding hot coffee.
Yeah,
And by the way, he's carrying, like, he's been really, like, badly injured.
well, because he was
Not-
blown up by a bomb, but the bomb
Yeah.
fortunately had Looney Tune qualities
Right,
to
it was
it.
an Acme bomb.
Yes, it
Right.
just stained his face like, like just
but his,
black.
his hands are completely bandaged. And so
Yes.
when Schwarzenegger's running right by him right before the Christmas Eve parade, he's carrying a tray of like 7 coffees.
Yes. Yes.
We've only known him as like a loner in this movie, but suddenly.
But he's like,
well,
hey,
it
guys.
is the longest day ever.
Well,
he has
but-
to stay away.
but
Look out for him. You're
I don't
right.
know if you saw this because the whole movie's climax takes place at the parade, and the parade there is a cop float
Yes,
that he is
that he is
on.
the queen of
He's,
the
he's the
cop
queen and the cop
I
float,
didn't notice
and there's
that.
also a giant trampoline on the cop
Yeah,
float
but
where one cop
I
is just
saw
doing
that,
like
yeah.
flips on it, which is like.
Why not? It's Christmas Eve.
Celebrate the cops in the
Yeah.
Wintertainment parade because all kids want to look at the cop float.
But also,
with
this
the
is
cop
most,
acrobat.
yeah,
It was like Ice-T came in to help write the parts of the movie because it's so anti-cop the whole way. Like,
Oh, yeah.
cops are just getting hurt and blown up. They're just a
yeah.
nuisance. That
cops are just getting in the way
Yeah.
of him getting his toy. But now the luck all comes together when Schwarzenegger is running away from a cop, trying to hide from him,
Yep.
mistaken as the actor that is supposed to play Turbo Man in the parade.
Right, because he's a giant Austrian bodybuilder.
Now, I also don't know if they're trying to hide the fact that he's going to be Turbo Man, but he's so clear. Like, the camera's trying to do it very cleverly. Like, oh, what?
And
what
nobody's
is he getting
saying
into?
into?
Clear reveal.
Nobody's saying what they mean.
But he clearly is getting into the Turbo Man
Right.
costume. There's and Booger from Revenge of the Nerds is playing his partner in the.
I like to
Thanksgiving-
think of him as
Agnes
Sepesto's boyfriend in Moonlighting.
Booster.
Booster. He's playing Booster, the dog that everyone hates from the Turbo Man TV show.
Why does everyone hate him?
That also seemed no reason. That dog didn't seem
Like,
to be.
your kid would be happy with a Booster doll. And then just wait a week, then get a Turbo Man doll.
Yeah,
No.
I'm going to
fuck
be
you
such
guys.
a good dad.
People hate
He's
him.
gonna be so
Such
awesome.
a good negligent dad.
So then the whole finale takes place at this parade. This becomes a
By the way, there's
full-on.
nothing Christmassy about this parade.
No, it's a winter. It's a wintertainment.
Yeah, it's
Kind of
wintertainment.
back to the way that I gave my greeting. for the
winter
show.
is just all about Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah.
Rock'em
Rock'em
Sock'em
Sock'em Robots and a Cabbage Patch doll.
Yep. And wait, what did they high five about? Was it Snoopy or something else? Or the two kids high five?
Oh yeah, what did they high five about? Oh man.
Oh, Cat in the Hat. Cat in the Hat. High five.
Well, also like I think that they gave like Rita Wilson is like they see the Turbo Man float. You talked about this when Rita Wilson just laughs.
Rita Wilson, when the Turbo Man float is revealed, everybody's so excited. I felt like the direction in this movie was just like extras just laugh. Like everybody
Yeah.
just please start laughing. Rita Wilson laughs so hard when she sees that Turbo Man float come out. It's
There's nothing
the
funny about it.
craziest reaction
She's
I've
not
ever
recognizing her husband. She's just going, oh, that's
seen.
so
She's
funny.
thrilled.
She's just remembering that her husband almost burned down a neighbor's house, and then she just left.
She's like, in her mind, right? You're Rita Wilson. And in your character's mind, your marriage is over. Your husband is a maniac.
And your child's not getting the one thing that he wants for
Yeah.
Christmas, Turbo Man.
Right.
And you are wet in your pants for Phil Hartman.
Well, sure.
Well, no, she turns down Phil Hartman.
She
hit him.
She hits him in the head with a thermos.
Yeah, I
because he's
guess
trying
so.
to.
There's a lot of women in this movie like hitting men with like purses and thermoses. And
Oh man! So they're on this float. The fight scene gets crazy. Schwarzenegger is allowed to pick one kid from the audience to give the Turbo Man toy to. Great convenience there. He picks his son. The son gets it, and then all of a sudden,
Jamie.
then Sinbad has now kidnapped another man,
knows my name.
and no one recognizes him. The costume for Turbo Man, by the way, is not like a Batman cowl. It is a
he's
clear
basically
plastic
wearing
mask.
sunglasses.
Yes, he's basically wearing like
Oakleys.
Oakleys,
Yeah.
like ugly Oakleys. That is it. He looks just like Schwarzenegger.
Wait, you mean Annie Oakley's dad? Ugly Oakley?
ugly Oakley. So basically, Sinbad has kidnapped another member of the parade. There's a giant fight scene where then Sinbad goes off and starts chasing Schwarzenegger's kid up a building onto a like I don't even know, like a Christmas tree that then breaks
Christmas
from the
tree on top
combined
of a building.
Yeah, Christmas tree on top of a building that then breaks from the combined weight of Sinbad and this kid. They're hanging loose 50 feet or 50 stories above
Everyone's
there.
like, this is part of the show. This
Why
is the-
does
Yeah.
Sinbad have to dress up like the villain of Turbo Man? Why can't he just, in his postman's outfit, try and get the...
Right.
Ugh.
Because the cops will probably stop him. At this point, they're going to
Right,
think he's
people
part
need
of the
to think
show.
he's part
I
of the
see.
show,
He
Jason.
I guess so.
But that was
Use your head.
one thing I was embarrassed about. A genuine laugh that came out of my mouth was when Sinbad kept calling Turbo Man Turtle Man. I laughed at Turtle Man.
My genuine laugh came out of the fact when Sinbad is running through the parade, he's trying to get away because he's stolen the Turbo Man doll from a child. And he pushes a dancing person in the parade who's dressed like a box and goes, "Out of my way, box!"
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, that was good.
That box later saved his life.
It did save his life.
You know what I would love? I would love to do a shot-for-shot remake or an almost shot-for-shot remake of this movie, focusing on Sinbad's character as like a What About Bob kind of. I love this idea that he has no children.
Yeah.
He's an alcoholic postman who has decided that today
I
he's
think
going to
he's-
commit suicide
I think
after
he's
getting this
kill-
doll.
No, he's killed his actual
I think he's like a suicide by cop type
yeah,
of dude.
yeah, totally.
He's just trying to end
There
it.
is a dark movie
yeah.
here
Truly.
if it's focused on Sinbad's
you cut to his
character.
house, he's stuffed his entire family there around a Christmas
Yeah.
table. And he's
Stuff
holding
them with people's mail.
Oh man! And then I guess the moral of the whole movie is you don't need a toy when you have the real thing. Is that the moral?
Basically, the moral is you don't need this little toy when you have a bigger toy that's real.
Yeah, because basically, like, Jamie, Schwarzenegger's kid, Jamie gives the toy to Sinbad. Sinbad is then going to take it to his kid. And he goes, but Jamie, I thought you loved this toy. And he said...
Jamie still doesn't realize... Wait, does he realize this is dad at this point?
He never realized...
He never realizes.
Oh, wait, no, I guess at this point
he does at the end.
Because he tells him. I think he only after he says, I'm your father. He goes like, Dad, why would I want the toy when I have the real Turbo Man at home? That's it. That's the moral.
Well, the kid,
Credits.
I mean, the Christmas message is that he has the doll. The whole movie is trying to get the kid the doll. Then he gives the doll to Sinbad to give to his unseen child.
Who may doesn't
Basically to give it to Sinbad.
Yeah, he gives it to Sinbad, and then that's it. That's the end. But he's like, he's going to bring that doll to jail. He's going to jail.
Yeah, he's going to jail.
He's a terrorist. He blew up a radio station.
He blew up policemen.
He choked a woman, maced the guy. And also, this is the only Christmas movie I remember that never shows Christmas.
You never see Christmas morning.
You never see Christmas morning. You don't even see Christmas Eve night. It just ends in the afternoon of Christmas Eve. Oh, man. And, this is something interesting. I wanted to bring this one thing up here, which is in 1998, this film was sued because someone said that they stole the entire script. The script had 36 similarities to another script that was submitted. And basically, they were found guilty. The people who made this movie were found guilty of stealing the idea in order to pay $19 million.
What?
Was this a hit?
It was a hit. And so... But as they won that loss...
So Randy Kornfield...
this is like basically a high school teacher wrote this movie, and then...
Well, that makes sense.
And then Murray Hill president Bob Laurel got sued. Anyway, he got paid $19 million. As soon as it was awarded, the guy died right before he got the $9 million. The guy, the original writer of the script, got $19 million. He just died. And then... In 2004, this movie was in 1994. Yeah. Right? In 2004, they finally overturned it, and then no money got paid out to anybody.
Oh, wow.
36 similarities in there. But
when I was, I think, in 8th grade, when this movie came out, I went to Italy with my family, and it was playing in Italy. But Jingle All The Way doesn't mean anything.
Right.
What they call it.
I don't know, like Christmas ravioli. I don't know. But I just remember being like, it meant nothing. And I wish I could have seen that in Italy. But people must think.
What does this title
Americans
mean
are like-
anyway?
Jingle All The Way Home. Obviously we didn't like the movie, but there are some people who really love the movie, so here's a chance for a second opinion. These are reviews culled on Amazon of people that really love the movie. Arnie Fan wrote, I think the reason why people do not like this movie is that it hits too close to home.
Yeah.
This is a movie for people who can laugh at their problems. All right? And parents, people whose parents let them down and people who let their kids down do not like this movie. Because like I said, it hits too close to home. Ouch. 5 stars.
Wow, that person nailed it.
Kirby Wallace writes, people don't like this movie probably because they didn't watch it to the end.
You turn it off and say, you're like, you know what? I didn't like this movie. Did you get to the parade? Because that's where it really gets good.
Because he goes, it's not about materialism and purchase loyalties. It's about Christmas is not about materialism. So that is Kirby Wallace again.
It's like the son is not passing on the lessons that Arnold has learned at all.
There is no Christmas Eve.
Are you talking about his son in real life that he had?
Schwarzenegger, I did see an interview with Schwarzenegger where he goes that this is true to him because he does a lot of Christmas Eve shopping, so he knows what's going on. Yeah, I'm sure he's out in the malls. I do want to say there was one
both
thing.
My legitimate and my illegitimate children.
There was one thing I just want to hit on it before we go. That the kid at one point gets into a fight with Schwarzenegger on the phone. And he goes, just like Turbo Man says, keep your promises if you want to keep your friends. When would Turbo Man ever say that in the Turbo Man show? Keep your promises if you want to keep your friends.
And now that you say that they manufactured the dolls and stuff, I bet they were gonna do like a Turbo Man TV show, like Power Rangers style.
They said that that the movie was rushed so much they couldn't produce as many toys as they wanted or needed to get it out for Christmas. God. So it was just a giant ad. So I think that wraps it up for Jingle All The Way. Any thoughts? Anything that we didn't talk about? Anything that cares to be mentioned?
I hated this movie.
Okay.
This movie ruined Christmas.
The ending of this, I'm realizing, is a lot like Old Dogs.
By the way, it's exactly like Old Dogs. I thought the same thing when it was a jetpack. I was like, oh, jetpack, bad dad. Bad dad needs to rescue his kid with a jetpack. This is Old Dogs.
By the way, when he was rescuing the kid in the jetpack, like we've already seen him. Jamie's dangling off like 2-story
for like
building
3 solid minutes.
for a really long time.
Oh,
and
much like the
Arnold,
kid in the tree in Superman 3.
Yeah.
There's a lot of connections.
And Arnold is having so much trouble with that jetpack.
When he's in trouble, he loses control and is suddenly in Minneapolis.
Yes.
He's in Minneapolis, and then comes back to St. Paul,
Right, but I was like,
which
feeling
is
The movie also
15 miles away.
Yeah, this movie has no difference between those two
No,
cities.
they're
at
the
all.
same
They're
thing. They have the same police
Yeah.
force.
By the way, I love my dad. He is amazing, but I would never want to see my dad in a jetpack. That is not a fantasy. But these Hollywood movies are like, put
They
the
think that's
dads in
what
the
people
jetpack.
want.
Kids
Yeah.
really want their dads to be flying
I also
in.
felt like Jamie was going to be safer just dropping off the building than having Arnold grab him in that jetpack.
Yeah, I think falling to his death is actually a better gift than getting a Turbo Man from his insane father. Well, that about wraps it up for How Did This Get Made? Thank you to Joe Mande, who has one of my favorite Twitter accounts, at Joe Mande. You can, of course, follow June and I, at June Diane, and at Paul Scheer. Jason, you do not have a Twitter account. I want to thank everybody here at Earwolf for putting out this amazing holiday episode so quickly for you. And as always, if you like the show, please rate and review it on iTunes. We'll see you in the new year. Unless you're listening in the new year, then we're seeing you now. Watching you every step.
How did this get made?